Welcome and join us for a review of the Porsche Cayenne GTS. Let's go! Holy moly. In the front we can see the typical Porsche shape, round structure, sporty designs, a put-up 911, that's how the Cayenne started. And the GTS version has of course a more menacing air intake, black accentuations already here, stronger bumper and so on. Then also the black grille here in the front. Alright guys, now it's time to take the bets. From which side will I enter the screen today? You have 3 more seconds. I'll tell you the length: 4.92 meters, 16 foot 1 or 194 inches. It's the length of the Cayenne, and here I am. Gotcha. You thought this side, right? Well, but if you were right, then congratulations. So here the GTS, you can see it always comes standard with the painted wheel arches in the vehicle color to again get the sportier look. To me, an SUV rather fits more when you have the crossover wheel arches, but what do you think? There is a possibility for the coupe version to change that. However, here then it fits also to the rest of the color. Then, as for the wheel size, the base Cayenne would start 19-inch. The GTS automatically comes with 21-inch. You can also see it here. There are also 22-inch available. In the rear, we can see black accentuations everywhere. The Porsche logo hidden behind the glass here is also in black. Cayenne GTS logo in black. Black diffuser in low part. Everything dark tinted. Pretty cool, definitely. Of course, it would be more elegant than when it's in a brighter look, but here definitely carried out all the way with a sporty look. Then we got the sports exhaust, 4 pipes, and this here would even be optional for a turbo. You might remember that review. So we have also different versions from the Cayenne in our reviews. So this otherwise optional sports exhaust is standard here for the GTS. And then there's again another option, which would be again exclusive for the coupe version. Soon going to show that to you, and also with the exhaust note. As for the engines for the Cayenne, let's start with the general overview. So we start with the V6 3-liter engine, 340 horsepower in the base Cayenne. Then there's the S model, the 2.9-liter V6 with 440 horsepower. Then you get the 3-liter V6 PHEV, 462 horsepower. Then comes here the 4-liter V8 now, again in the GTS with 460 horsepower. Acceleration figure 4.5 seconds to 1 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. And above that would be the turbo, which has the same base engine, also the 4-liter V8, but then 550 horsepower or 680 horsepower with the electric motor in the turbo S PHEV. So let's now take a look at the interior. First of all, the door closing sound, very solid. In this case, we also have the option here of a soft close. Magic. Then, inside of the doors, here Alcantara is the GTS scheme. So let me just deactivate that beeping sound when the ignition is turned on. So GTS has Alcantara at the inside of the doors and red contour stitching, and that's of course then also really fitting to the exterior color. Reasonable door pockets on the inside. Then we have a Cayenne GTS entry badge right there, and the floor mats once again with the red contour stitches, and more Alcantara in the interior. For example, with the steering wheel, that's the best steering wheel you can get, great grip, and also very cozy both in summer and winter times. Then there's a dark headlining, also all the way covered with Alcantara. It's pretty cool. You can also go for a panoramic roof, which reduces the headroom a little bit but brings more light in the interior. However, well, with the GTS, of course, you see more Alcantara when you have not picked the panoramic roof. Then special sport seats for the GTS, also with a stitched logo right here. There are some animal parts left unnecessarily. However, the main structure then is the Alcantara on the inside. Once again, signature to the GTS. We'll soon also show you a coupe version with the optional sports lightweight package, which also goes with the fabric seats, but this would be more typical GTS. That's why we picked this car as a main vehicle here today. So let's get inside. And the sport seats are still comfortable. You have the upright, very sovereign seating position here for the Cayenne, and head clearance here with 1m86 or 6'1". There's really plenty of headroom left. Now the interior overview. You can see here again the horizontal stress, red contour stitches, sports chrono pack here with the red arrow. So yeah, always a beautiful emotional feature. 12.3-inch full HD display. Left side two 7-inch screens with the centralized analog RPM meter. Soon more deals to the systems. Steering wheel again with the great Alcantara cover. I would always go for it, no matter what. It's really cool and just brings joy in every drive. Left side you have volume plus and minus, and then you can control left thumb with that screen and right thumb controls the other screen, picking up the phone and so on. Driving mode select you've already seen. You can individualize your home screen, what you want to see, at first sight. Then there's the GPS right here, good visualization, quite clear and also responsive enough. And you pick all the stuff here on the left side. Doing that while driving is a little bit complicated. I think the Audi software solution is a little bit better to use, I think, with the big app views right there. Here, for example, again, you can see how the driving mode selected steering wheel also changes different settings, and you can also play with the air suspension right there. There is also an off-road mode where the air suspension goes all the way up then. Now to the rear. Classic SUV building style we have here, and again Alcantara use at the inside of the doors. Soft touch materials everywhere. This in this case should be the leatherette. And then the rear seats also with the same design scheme, and you already see this very upright seating position. That's pretty cool. Remember, the platform is the same they use also for the Volkswagen Touareg and for the Audi Q7, Audi Q8 and so on. All siblings and also built in the same plant. So let's see about the rear seating. Today important shoe tabs to get rid of the mud, and then there's plenty of legroom left. That's comfortable. Upright here, very comfortable in the rear, and can just stress again, this is way more comfortable than you would think, like being in a Panamera, for example. So handroom here, also no problem with 1m86 or 6'1". Again, panoramic roof would reduce it. 770 liter is the trunk capacity. A very well usable sports car, and sometimes we show you everything cleaned up and empty, and today I want to show you how does it look like when it's really all packed, and that's how it looks like. And you can see or have a better impression what you can actually fit in there. Yeah, I know. He can do it even better with 2 wheels. But I also don't want to exceed the speed limit, so yeah. Where are the others? Yeah, that was like 0 to 80 approximately acceleration in Sports Plus mode. Yeah, pretty impressive, also with a decent sound. You can of course also use the launch control, but I didn't want to show off too much now at the traffic light because there were other cars around. Yeah, I think that's a nice start here. Welcome to Thomas's driving lounge with the Porsche Cayenne GTS here in this new generation. And you might ask yourself, since we have the 8-cylinder here then, so what would be the reason to take the turbo again and pay even more money for that? Actually, I have no idea, because when you seek a sportier Cayenne, so then that's here definitely the way to go. I can already tell you that right now. So either I would rather go like stick with the base 6-cylinder, the 3-liter 6-cylinder, not even the S version, just base trim, and that's it, and don't pay too much money for it. Or if you want the sportiest Cayenne, then you can directly go with the GTS, have the Alcantara seating and so on, have a great performance indeed. The additional horsepower from the turbo doesn't make too much of a difference indeed. And you have a very sporty setup here. So remember, you either have the PASM, this adaptive suspension, 20 millimeters lower in the GTS setup, or you have the air suspension optional, which is also equipped with this very test vehicle, and that is then 10 millimeters lower. Yeah, since we have the traffic light here, we can do another acceleration. So in either way, the GTS will also be stiffer and sportier. And then we also have the PDCC in here. That's again 0 to 70 kilometers an hour. Yeah, pretty impressive. When you look at the all-wheel drive gauges here, by the way, we have a rear wheel bias. And then the more I hit the throttle, the more torque is also sent to the front wheel. Say hello to the speed camera. Yeah. So that's also a reason not to exceed the speed, of course. Now we can go to 100. Wow, very sonorous 8-cylinder sound here. That's of course pretty cool. It gives you such a sovereign feeling. Really cool. And the car is still so great to handle. It's a big SUV, but you know, it still feels so good in the handling. Crisp and precise from the steering. So you have great command over it, especially good grip with the Alcantara steering wheel. And then the PDCC, this anti-roll control. We can also have a different gauge for that here that shows me how it evens out the leaning of the vehicle. Wow, that is keeping the gas so straight. However, if you think about, oh, I get a comfortable air suspension and I want to feel the air suspension, yeah, that's not really the case then here. So if you have the GTS and the air suspension, it's still more comfortable than the normal PASM, yes, but indeed you lose comfort. So if you want the most comfort and if you want the soft air suspension, then you would not go for the GTS mode. It really depends on what you like. But if you appreciate a very stiff air suspension, here for example you see how upright the car is remaining all the time, yeah, then that's actually a way to go for. As long as the roads are pretty even and good, that's cool. Here, by the way, the PDCC is always on. So this, some colleagues filming right here. So it's always on, this anti-roll control. But then in the sportier modes, it's just like strengthened. So it's a different setting for it. It works even more. Now we have some nice countryside routes, and first of all here, by the way, in the normal driving mode, even the normal driving mode, well, the gears are not turned up that high then, that's the difference, but still the suspension is always stiff, but a little bit more comfortable in the sports mode. Here at about 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, it's perfectly silent in here, and it will even be at higher speeds, so the noise insulation is superb. You have the upright seating position. The sport seats here are also very decently comfortable. They give you a lot of shoulder support, but without being like this super racy style, which just look good and reduce the comfort extremely. Then again, the Alcantara surface is also doing a good comfort job. So as I said earlier, either go with the Alcantara surface, or then if you have the coupe, then pick the either also the standard Alcantara or then the fabric seats when you go for the lightweight package. So indeed, it is somewhat still a compromise between sportiness and comfort, yes. However, then the GTS definitely goes into the very sporty direction. So once again, the sportiest Cayenne, definitely also especially from driving and also from this, sinister look from the exterior, sportiest one is the GTS. And now to our conclusion for today with the new Porsche Cayenne GTS. So in general, if you want to go for the best price performance Cayenne, well, then go either with the base version, because the 3-liter V6 is way more than enough. If you think about more high trim spec and performance, combining that with price performance, the new plug-in hybrid is actually the best price performance overall, because they offer it intentionally at a very good price performance rate. If you also think about that the plug-in hybrid has the same horsepower figure than this one here. However, if you want the sportiest Porsche Cayenne, this is for you, the GTS. Sportiest, more menacing look on the exterior, sportiest interior, and also the sportiest driving from the suspension setup. Yes, the downside is that you do not feel anymore it's an air suspension because it has a stiff setup. However, combined with the overall sophisticated driving feeling and the upright seating position, it is still a good, comfortable ride, especially here also on the motorway when it's a good, even surface. Yet again, I mean, it's a big SUV, it's heavy, but they managed here, especially in the GTS version, that it drives literally like a sports car. So together, especially with the features like I didn't mention it before, this also had the rear axle steering, a very good option. So to say, fakes a shorter wheelbase. It feels more agile when driving slower because the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction than the front wheels. And then at higher speeds, more stability, rear wheels in the same direction than the front wheels. Together with the PDCC, the anti-roll control and so on, what a great handling from this big SUV. One of the best sportiest on the market overall, I think. There is also some fierce competition. Audi RS Q8, for example, I talked about it, or the Mercedes GLE in the AMG versions, just to name a few. BMW X5 or X6 in the M50i, or then the true M versions. You can check out these reviews on Autogefühl and compare them. They all somewhat come close, have different emphasis and so on. So please also tune into these reviews. Also interesting choice between SUV and the SUV Coupe, with this special sports lightweight package as well. And the interior fabric seats were of course also quite nice. Other than that, this is also one of the best interiors, as the Alcantara is the sportiest choice, and at the same time it's of course also a cozy choice, and you have a better climate feature on the seating overall. So very nice, with a lot of Alcantara use here for the GTS, a really core characteristic model for all the GTS models. Not really worth to go the extra price for the turbo, I have to be honest. Then if you want a sportier one, just stick with the GTS. So what do you think about the Cayenne GTS here for today? Leave us your comments. Tune into more Cayenne versions, or as I said, to the competitor reviews. We will link them in the video description and in the pinned comments. Thank you so much for tuning in today. See you next time.